Right now, we focus so much more on punishing people and on warehousing them indefinitely and on labeling them permanently. There's no understanding that they're still people and they need to be reintroduced to the community. And the goal of our criminal justice system should be to restore relationships and bring people back into the fold.
It's important that it's something that is fair, but also something that is rehabilitative. I think that is something that we've lost sight of, that the prison system was meant to help draw towards the more positive aspects of humanity, that no matter what one has done, they have the ability to change and get better. And as well, from a legislative standpoint, I think it's important that question is being asked now, because legislation takes time to develop, takes time for its true goals to be realized when it's implemented. And so the things that we're talking about now will actually impact what 2050 looks like.
I would like to see a system where incarcerating someone for committing a crime is the last resort, not the first resort. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of different components to what a new system would look like to achieve that end. But I think just from a high level view, that's what I would like to see.
But I think there needs to be a continual vigilant look at sentencing reform, at how we hand down certain sentences for certain crimes. I think that there needs to be an increase in funding on some of these grant programs, so like the Second Chance Act or REXO, which has a direct impact in the faith community, so helping these community partners, expanding their capacity to, number one, help returning citizens. Number two, maybe in places where that school to prison pipeline, which is a real problem, being able to help make sure that we're adequately educating our young people and giving them venues so that they do not end up in the criminal justice system.
Aside from the policy changes, we as a country need to get away from thinking that the criminal justice system is accurately reflected in our media.
We need to have the cultural and political will to make the changes that are necessary. And some of those things would be fixing our broken educational system so that when people actually come through the schools, they're literate at a level of literacy that allows them to succeed in a modern technical society. It's not the case currently.
I'm a political consultant, and I've also started an organization called the Daniel Initiative. Some of my clients, I help them in lobbying for change in criminal justice reform, helping them to connect to or write good, sound public policy pieces towards criminal justice reform. But then as also on the community aspect, I help a lot of churches figure out ways that they can best engage the community. I find that oftentimes it's a sticky situation. A lot of these faith leaders want to do something, but A, maybe their congregation is not giving them the support that they need, or B, they don't know how to talk about such an issue. You know, when you're talking about transgressions, violent crimes, a victim and the perpetrator in the same congregation, those type of conversations are uneasy, but they're also necessary.
I'm working in two different broad sectors. One's a programmatic sector, so I'm working to help expand effective literacy programs using the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard's breakthroughs in education and literacy that teach people how to study so that they can learn basically how to study anything. So that helps with people getting jobs, that helps with people getting into higher education and succeeding, and so on and so forth. Likewise, I'm working with and have personally been a volunteer with our in-prison program called Criminon, and I'm working to help set up a model drug rehabilitation program in the area called Narcanon. So I'm doing that kind of work. On the other side, I'm also working on the public policy part and trying to play a role in bringing more rational legislation and regulatory things into play to help achieve the things I was talking about earlier from the public policy side of things.
I'm a Soros Justice Fellow working for the Human Rights Defense Center on a project that focuses on ending the practice of civilly committing youth as sexually violent predators and indefinitely detaining them in prisons masquerading as treatment facilities. I also anchor a campaign in D.C. around rethinking justice in the district. That campaign right now is focused on the involvement of a corporation called CCA, or Corrections Corporation of America. It's the largest for-profit private prison corporation in the world, and they run one of the 2 jails in D.C. Their contract is up in 2017, and one of the things that I'm doing is helping this coalition build a grassroots, community-based movement to make sure that CCA doesn't stay here in D.C.